welcome to Baina Midday News, coming to you live from our news hub, Atomic Junction, Benab House, Accra. My name is Fawzia Abdullah. Coming up this afternoon, flooded in parts of Accra after heavy downpour, leaving vehicles stuck and causing heavy traffic jams. Security analysts called for urgent review of National Anti-Galamsey Task Force operational strategy as illegal miners attack EPA officials and journalists on an anti-Galamsey mission. Details shortly, as reports indicate that 3 journalists were critically injured after a head-on collision and are receiving treatment at various health facilities. And on the foreign front, Sudanese paramilitary Rapid Support Forces agrees to humanitarian truce proposed by US-led mediation group after initially taking control of El Fasher more than 18 months of fierce battle. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Baina TV. Now let's move on to our very first story. Officials from the Economic and Organized Crime Office have arrested 320 people in connection with an alleged human trafficking and recruitment scam in the Ashanti region. After screening, 295 of them were identified as victims of trafficking, while 25 others believed to have lured the victims into a fake business operation under the guise of QNet were detained.
According to Iyoko, the victims were brought from various parts of the country with false promises of employment, education, and travel opportunities. They were camped at different locations in Kenyasi in the Kwabri East municipality and Buahu in the Efija South district. Head of Iyoko's anti-human trafficking unit, Staff Officer Dominic Mensah, said arrangements are underway to provide temporary shelter and facilitate the victims' reintegration with their families. Meanwhile, QNet's head of compliance, Theodosia Nana Benia Korte, expressed worry over the persistent misuse of the company's name in fraudulent schemes and assured that QNet is intensifying its collaboration with security agencies to curb such activities.
Now this afternoon, security and fraud consultant Richard Kumado is calling on government to urgently review its strategy in the fight against illegal mining. His call follows an attack on officials of the Environmental Protection Agency and a group of journalists during an anti-Galamsey operation near Obuasi. More in the following report.
A team of journalists accompanying the Environmental Protecting Agency on the anti-illegal mining operation was involved in a serious road accident in the Ashanti region after fleeing from an attack by gun-wielding miners. The operation, which targeted illegal mining sites around Dadrin near Obuasi, reportedly turned violent when the team came under fire from a group of angry miners. Under the intense pressure, the EPA officers and journalists retreated for safety. However, while driving through Afari, one of the convoy vehicles crashed, leaving several people injured. 2 journalists were said to be in critical conditions but are now responding to treatment. Among those involved was Media General's Ashanti Regional Correspondent Ibrahim Abubakar, who escaped serious injury, alongside another reporter from Adum News and the camera personnel also from the multimedia group. Listen to EPA Chief Executive Officer Professor Nana Ama Brownie Kluse narrate their ordeal in this interview with TV3 monitored by Baina News.
So some of them were dressed in black, like complete black from top to down, and some of them were wearing vests like this with CID written at the back. We asked them, in fact, the soldiers, the national security men, asked them of their ID card and stuff like that. So it was becoming confrontational, and then we had to leave because we couldn't. They said they cannot overpower them, so we had to leave. They had their arms, but we didn't. Of course, EPA doesn't. We didn't have, so we had to run.
In an interview with Baina News, fraud and security consultant Richard Kumadu urged government and the Anti-Galamsey Task Force to reassess their operational strategy to better protect enforcement teams and journalists.
Okay, so what I can say is that, yeah, there has been an ambush of the woman organizer of the NDC, who is now in charge of the Minerals Fund. There has been an attack on the NIMOS team. Then there has been an attack on the EPA box. It means that the risks or the operational challenges in relation to Galamsey and Galamsey-related activities are very high, which also presupposes that all the agencies within the center where the fighting is taking place, they will need to be adequately prepared, they will need to be resourced, and they will need to take the field operational risk assessment seriously. Once that is done, it helps them to survive, to escape, and to have successes. Other than that, the tendency of being entrapped and entangled is very high, considering the sporadic nature or the spread at which the attacks takes place. Okay, yeah. So when I said they should assess the operational methodologies and review the operational tactics, I'm talking about the nationwide risk assessment outcomes. They have to be conversant with it. They have to make use of the local law enforcement officers, the police and the BNI for intelligence purposes. They will have to look at their movement and whether they have enough capacity to move, who does what at where, and with how many people, and what exactly is supposed to be done. There has to be clear communication. There has to be interagency working together, collaboration to ensure that they get the results on time. When their back is against the wall, what to do, what are the ramifications and the remedies. These are things they have to be rehearsed, they have to be conversant with, and they have to ensure that they follow the standard procedure. If everybody goes in there at various times, at various places, and there's no cohesion, there's likely to be challenges.
SOT. As incidents like this persist, questions remain about the government's next line of action amid growing calls for a more radical approach to end illegal mining. Hindatu Mohammed for Baina News.
And in some other stories, parts of Accra were hit by severe flooding following hours of heavy rainfall early this morning. The downpour, which lasted for nearly 4 hours, left several vehicles stuck and caused major disruptions to movement across parts of the capital.
The rains, which began in the early hours of Friday, turned several streets and major roads into streams. In Kaneshie, one of the hardest hit areas, the main road was completely submerged, making driving and pedestrian movement extremely difficult. Motorists were forced to abandon their vehicles, while others struggled to navigate through the floodwaters. Experts say the flooding has once again exposed the city's poor drainage system and called for urgent intervention from city authorities. Baina News also understands that areas such as Jolu were not spared. Roads in the area were flooded, leaving commuters stranded for hours. Meanwhile, officials from the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, say they are monitoring the situation and have urged the public to exercise caution, especially in flood-prone areas. The latest flooding adds to growing concerns about Accra's drainage infrastructure as the city continues to grapple with recurring floods during the rainy season.
Now, away from that, a special dawah was held on Thursday, November 6, 2025 at Accra Tishinungwa Zongo, organized by the Association of Songhai Women Preachers in Ghana. The event brought together Muslim women for sermons and discussions focused on how to overcome marital and daily life challenges in line with Islamic teachings and principles.
Also known as Riyadul Jannah or Riyadh Paradise for Muslim Women Ghana, the association is a network of devoted Muslim women committed to social and religious awareness, support for orphans and the needy, and the fight against female illiteracy. Riyadul Jannah operates in several countries including Mali, Niger, Cote d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso, and continues to expand its program in line with its mission of empowerment and education for women. The Dawah Day attracted a large number of participants from across Ghana, including Medina, Kasua, Tema, as well as guests from the Malian community. Traditional leaders and prominent religious figures of the Songhai community were also present. The event, coordinated by male counterparts, featured recitations of the Holy Quran and sermons delivered by women preachers. Speaking to Baina TV, Dr. Yusuf Inter Yusuf commended Riyadul Jannah for its efforts, emphasizing the importance of such gatherings in strengthening Islamic understanding within the Ummah. Sheikh Yusuf Ibrahim Maiga prayed for Allah's blessing upon the global Songhai community, while Dr. Yusuf expressed appreciation to all participants and honored guests, including Alhaji Muhammad Arun, Sarkin Samari of Nungwa, urging continued support for the association's noble mission. The event concluded with the presentation of recognition certificates to outstanding members, collaborators, and special guests. A heartfelt testimony was shared by Sheikh Umar Bazi, followed by Abdul Qadir Harun, both highlighting the spiritual and practical value of dawah in daily life. The Quran recitations were performed by Aisha Abdullah, Khadija Hussain, Huraira Salah, Aisha Musa, Sauda Muhammad, and Zainab Musa. The sermons were delivered by Fatima Abdul Wahid, Hawa Muhammad Salah, Malama Maryam in the Hausa language, Zikra Abdullah, and Rukaya Osman Muhammad. The association's leaders, Sheikh Yusuf Ibrahim Maiga, Malama Hajia Rukaya Wila, Malama Hajia Hawa Saeed, Malama Hajia Sahadatu Musa, and others jointly expressed their joy and gratitude for the success of the event, extending appreciation to all participants, guests, Baina TV, and participants for their continuous support.
You're still watching Baina Midday News. We'll be back with business and more after this break. Do stay.
From the very first stage to this defining moment, they came with passion, purpose, and the power of faith. And now, 5 remarkable voices remain. Each has walked a journey of courage, conviction, and devotion, each ready to make history. Ilham, soft and gentle, yet fearless. Her calm voice carries power. Her gentleness commands hearts.
It is our problem, and together, tare zamu iya kiyaye yaran matanmu.
Halima, slow but sure, every step deliberate, every moment filled with quiet purpose.
So no matter how you think you have all the weapons in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only says be and it will be.
Maimuna shines in modesty. Her humility radiates strength, grace wrapped in faith.
وجعل القمر فيهن نورا وجعل الشمس سراجا.
Hanun, bold and fearless, her words burn with truth and courage.
This is not leadership, this is betrayal, but not all hearts are hardened.
Muhammad, the only man left standing, a pillar of resilience. His voice echoes leadership and legacy.
Amina, I want Chelsea to win the game. I'm trying to fix us, Amina. Can't you understand? I'm trying to fix us. And you just understand how it's like to carry everything. Hey.
Faith, talent, unity. The journey that began with hope ends with history. The Umma Show Grand Finale, Friday, 14th November at 8 p.m. live on Baina TV. Venue, Zenith University College, near Trade Fair, La Accra. Entry free. The Umma Show, definitely different.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Barka da zuwa Salinas Scientific Herbal Clinic, inda yanayi da kimiyya ke haduwa. A Salinas Scientific Herbal Clinic, mun yadda da karfin magani ta gargajiya da kuma ta hanyar ganye, wanda binciken kimiyya ya tabbatar domin warkar da cututtuka kamar ta fibroid, prostate, erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, infertility da makamantansu.
Our dedicated team provides personalized consultation, taking the time to understand your individual needs and health goals. At Salinas, we are proud to have positively impacted the lives of countless patients, guiding them on their journey to better health.
Well, with Salinas Herbal Clinic, with their ultra-modern equipment or with their ultra-modern system, please kindly visit Salinas Herbal Clinic. They are well equipped with ultra-scan, laboratory service, and rehabilitation, such as people who are going through physio can visit Salinas Herbal Clinic. Don't forget, Salinas is also specialized in hijama, known as the cupping therapy. So kindly visit Salinas Herbal Clinic and rest assured you will not be disappointed.
At Salinas Scientific Herbal Clinic, muna located at Madina Redco Warehouse Road. Za ku iya dokan lambar da ke kan screening nan ku call domin karin bayani.
You're welcome back and thank you for staying. If you just tuned in, you're watching Baina Midday News. And we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Baina TV. Now let's take you to the world of business. And Ghana has been ranked the 6th largest gold deposit holder in the world and first in Africa, according to the World Gold Council 2025 Gold Demand Trends Report. The report reveals that Ghana's gold deposit stand at 140.6 tons, reinforcing its position as the African's top gold producer.
Da yake jawabi a taron PwC Cyber Forum na 2025 a Accra, Mr. Shagbo ya lura
And on the international front, the Sudanese paramilitary Rapid Support Forces says they have accepted a humanitarian truce proposed by a US-led mediation group. The RSF recently took control of North Darfur, the far's besieged capital, El Fasher, after more than 18 months of fierce fighting.
In a video statement released Thursday, RSF spokesperson Al-Fateh Qurashi Bashir said the group's decision was in response to the aspirations and interests of the Sudanese people. He confirmed that the RSF had agreed to the truce proposed by the quartet countries, the United States, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt, aimed at easing the country's humanitarian catastrophe and protecting civilians through the unhindered delivery of aid. The Sudanese army, however, said it will only accept a ceasefire if the RSF withdraws from civilian areas and disarms. The fall of Al-Fasher has worsened an already dire humanitarian situation. Aid workers report that civilians trapped in the city have been forced to survive on animal feed and rainwater while hiding in holes to escape gunfire. Reports from human rights groups indicate that RSF fighters massacred hundreds of civilians upon seizing the city, carrying out ethnically and politically motivated executions. 2 years of brutal conflict over control of Sudan have killed more than 40,000 people, a figure believed to be a major undercount, and displaced over 14 million, creating what the UN calls the world's worst humanitarian crisis. The RSF's capture of Al-Fasher has also sparked fears that Sudan could again split nearly 15 years after South Sudan gained independence following decades of civil war.
Now moving on to the world of sports, Tottenham defender Mickey van de Ven has admitted the team missed Ghanaian midfielder Mohamed Kudus during their 4-0 Champions League victory over Copenhagen. Kudus, who was sidelined with a minor injury, has been a key figure for Spurs since joining from West Ham United in the summer transfer window.
Kudus' creativity and pace have transformed Tottenham's attacking play under manager Thomas Frank. Speaking after Tuesday's match at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Van de Ven described Kudus as, quote, an unbelievable player whose impact goes beyond goals and assists. Despite Kudus' absence, Tottenham cruised past the Danish champions to claim their third group stage win. The 25-year-old Ghana international has scored 1 goal and provided 4 assists in 15 appearances this season, underlining his growing influence in both domestic and European competitions. Kudus is expected to return soon as Spurs prepare for their crucial Premier League clash with Manchester United.
Now this brings us to the end of today's news bulletin, but before I take a leave of you, let's recap today's major stories. in parts of Accra after heavy downpour, leaving vehicles stuck and causing heavy traffic jams. Also coming up, security analyst calls for urgent review of National Anti-Galamsey Task Force's operational strategy as illegal miners attack EPA officials and journalists on an anti-Galamsey mission. Details shortly, as reports indicate that 3 journalists were critically injured after a head-on collision and are receiving treatment at various health facilities. And on the international front, we brought you Sudanese paramilitary rapid support forces agreeing to humanitarian truce proposed by US-led mediation group after initially taking control of El Fasher more than 18 months of fierce battle. You can visit our website at www.bainamultimedia.com for more news. My name is Fauzi Abdallah. Do enjoy the rest of our program.